Hey guys, welcome back to Countdown to the Castle. My name is Marissa, and I'm joined here with my lovely co-host and husband, Joey.
What up?
We are T-minus 2 days from this recording to our next December trip.
We are.
And we are pumped.
We are super excited.
To get us more in the spirit, we thought, what a better episode than to tell you guys what we're planning to do for this trip. We have reservations, we have all of our lightning lanes, and our must-dos, must-eats, things like that for this trip that we're going to be sharing with you guys. And then we're going to have kind of a post-trip recap and see what we did, see what we didn't do.
Yeah.
So
before, and a lot changes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True.
On our trips. We add stuff, take stuff away. I mean, it might get chaotic. Or it could be at first.
It's already gotten a little chaotic, to be honest. And we'll get into that.
It has. Yeah, we will definitely talk about that. But it has went from one thing to another to another to another. So.
And I think that is something to be said with the Disney trips in general. Plan, because they do require planning. Of course, we all know that.
Indeed.
But leave room for spontaneity and just kind of like vibes. Like feel out the vibes and kind of see where you're at.
That's right.
And that's what we do a lot of the times. And we change, we modify our lightning lanes that work for, we're like, oh, we should go get breakfast. We need to change this. And we move things around to kind of fit our schedule the day of. But it's nice to have a plan.
Yes.
When going into it. Mm-hmm. So before we get into that part of the episode, I do have a little bit of news. So the biggest piece of news that I think is like crazy, like it's like we literally were like, what? The new Polynesian villas and bungalows, there is a restaurant that's going to be opening up on December 17th called, and I apologize for my pronunciation, Welulu. So that's the bar and grill, and that is going to be a pool, like a walk-up pool bar and grill. And just some of like the menu items are sweet potato hummus, spiced ham musabi, which actually sounds delicious, sticky pork ribs, poke bowl, coconut bread, Dole Whip sundaes, and they have some other like drinks and stuff like that. So that's just so crazy to me because I feel like
to me that's so soon,
so fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like last time I saw it, it just wasn't built, you know?
Yeah. So, but that's really exciting. That's going to be the last day of our trip. We may have to see it at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll kind of see. Maybe they'll do like a soft opening, things like that. Who knows? It's a pool bar, so probably not. But
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. So, the next piece of news, that Test Track is set to open up again in the summer, late summer of 2025.
Boo.
So, why is that boo?
Because I want to ride it
later. Yeah. I don't mind. I'm okay with waiting, but I'm excited to see what they're doing. Okay, and then the next thing are all of the lounges that we had announced at D23. We have the like the Space Mountain Lounge. That's going to be opening late spring. Cool. Yeah, that'll be awesome. And that's that late spring. Man, that's one of the sooner ones.
Really going out there with these lounges, man. Like there's so
many.
They really
are.
There's so many lounges now.
So many places to get a drink. Like you said, Disney World is for adults now.
That's what I'm saying. Where there's alcohol, it's for adults.
So, and then after that, the Pirates Lounge, which I think is probably the most anticipated of all of these, is going to be late 2025. Okay. So they didn't say spring, so probably winter time if I had to guess. And that's kind of all the announcements that we have for today, but pretty exciting.
It is.
Lots of late springs and late summers, and they definitely give themselves some wiggle room on those dates.
They do.
But so yeah, I mean obviously that pool bar is going to be opening up the soonest. So I'm excited.
Is it in the pool bar?
What? Like a swim up bar?
Swim up bar.
No, probably not.
It's a pool walk up bar.
I wouldn't be surprised if they or the new Universal Hotel does have a swim up bar.
Does it?
I forgot which one. Stella Luna, maybe? I'm not sure.
Stella Luna?
Stella
Luna.
Okay, so let's get into the episode.
All right.
We're kind of going to break this down. We have different categories. We're going to tell you when we're going, like how many nights and things like that, where we're staying, things like that, how we're getting there, because that's
changed. Lanes, must-dos, reservations.
Dining, all things like that.
Everything. And we have a pretty solid plan.
We do.
But like I said, it always changes.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. It is even, like we just said, it is even changed since
yesterday. Day or two, yeah.
Yeah. So
why don't you share kind of like when? So how many nights, things like that.
Okay. So obviously it's December because we're T-minus 2 days away from it.
Yes.
So it's funny because we're going to already talk about our first change here.
Yes.
Because it was originally a 6-night, 7-day stay.
No, it was originally a 7-night, 8-day stay.
Oh, it was originally a 7-night, 8-day stay. Now it's an 8-night, 9-day stay. So that's insane.
Yes, it is.
And that just came out of the blue because we ran into some more Disney dollars. You know what I'm saying? We got the Disney dollars.
We played around a little bit, and so we'll kind of move into where we're staying because that kind of plays a role in that. But I will say we do have 2 travel days, and as far as how we're getting down there, that has changed. We were originally going to be flying down there.
Yep.
And we had full luxury. Well, I mean, it was economy, but and it was Southwest. So I mean, as luxury.
Don't be hating on Southwest.
No, I'm not. But so anyway, we were gonna do that. We had like a 7:00 flight in the morning, and we were gonna have like this whole day in Disney. But this is good news. I got interviews for some jobs when I graduate in May. So,
that's right.
Obviously, those are important. And so that is the morning of our travel day. And so we kind of had to play around with our flights. And it was just going to be too expensive to change the flight to, like, make the difference, I guess.
We had the flight secured, but the difference in price to bump it up to like maybe 2:00 or something was like astronomical. It wasn't even worth it.
It was like $500.
It was more than the total of the trip I originally bought because I think we spent around $200 on round trip for both of us.
Which is why we did it because I mean we're in Georgia. We're only about 7 hours away. It's not the worst drive.
No, it's not.
So we don't usually think about flying, but because it was so cheap, we were like, heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But this has been a tough loss for Joey here.
Yeah.
He's had a tough time.
I mean, I hate
adjusting.
planes, so like there's like some good in it, but it does suck.
And we were on the Boeing
737. 737 800 Max. Horror stories on that. But yeah, we were originally had a 6:40 flight. It was
morning.
Originally 6:40, and we were going to get there. I think it's an hour and a half flight time, and then we'd be in Disney at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I will say, like, we are about an hour and a half from the airport. Wouldn't you say that's fair?
A little less than an hour and a half.
Okay, well.
Probably right at an hour.
An hour away from the airport, and it would take us like 30 minutes from the airport, like MCO, to our hotel, like with mirrors or something, potentially even a little bit longer. And so, I mean, like, travel time, like the amount of time that we're spending traveling isn't really less. It's just kind of like you're not the one driving. It's kind of the incentive there.
Yeah, so my family actually went on a trip recently, and I'll just make it short and sweet, simple. But if you live like 8 hours away from Disney, and then you decide, hey, I'm going to fly, the amount of time it takes you... And you
live far from the airport. I mean,
to get to the airport, to check in, go through security, sit.
And you're always like there early, right? So
wait for the board to plane, take off, flight time.
Wait for the plane to board, he meant.
Disembark the plane, get off, go get your luggage, get on mirrors. And if you don't get I think there's 2 different versions of mirrors. There's like a premium version and just the regular. I think the premium will bring you straight to your resort that you want. And the other one does a couple stops. So by the time you're done with all of that, they said it was like an 8-hour thing almost.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was really just for that, like, luxurious feeling. But anyway, so we are driving now, which gives us a little bit more flexibility in terms of, we're not scared that we're going to miss the flight if my interview goes a little bit longer, things like that. So, with all that being said, we don't have a full day
as our travel day. Yeah, we'll get there around 7.
We'll get there around 7, and we're still planning on, like, going to Disney Springs and, like, optimizing the time that we do have while we're there on property. But all that to say, what was I even, like, I mean, that's all important.
We're saying where we're staying, and then it went on a long tangent.
Because we've actually added 2 nights from our very original stay. So the thing about this trip, and honestly something that I think a lot of people I used to see, like, go to Disney all the time, and I'm like, how are you guys affording to go to Disney all this often? And we use our bounce back offer every single time that we go to Disney. It's 7 days after you check out, and you can get like 30% off of the room. And that's what we do.
So much money.
You save so much money, and that's how we're able to stay on property and go as often as we do.
Oh yeah.
So we originally had booked like 6 nights, and then since then we had added 1, and then just
Added
yesterday we
another
added
one.
another one. And so because of that, we were like, we are staying at Pop Century. So this is our where. We're staying at Pop Century, and this is going to be the first time for us since the Skyliner has been put in. I haven't been with you. I just went with my family one time when I was little. So I don't really remember the stay at Pop Century. What
I
about
remember
you?
Pop. No, I have good memories of Pop and Art of Animation.
Okay.
Just without the Skyliner. Never had the Skyliner when I went.
Yeah, that'll be a game changer.
Yeah,
for sure.
it will be a game changer, at least for, Epcot and Hollywood Studios and, Riviera. We love Riviera. So
of course. Yeah.
that's on the liner. That's a huge
The
plus
liner.
for us. The liner.
So we're shorting it to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
liner.
The liner.
Get with it, folks. That's the new saying.
But then our last 2 nights that we added, we were like, let's just go budget friendly. We won't really need the Skyliner because we're not going to be going to those parks probably, and we could just bus ride.
Yeah.
The way our parks were scheduled, we don't need it. So we were like, let's just go stay at All
It's
Star.
like, would you rather stay more and stay at a less expensive resort, or would you rather stay at a nicer resort for less days? And I think that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
And we personally have talked about that. Like, maybe we just add a night at the deluxe instead of doing 2 nights or things like that. And
Yeah.
I think we had decided, like, we're always going to be more days in Disney.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We called and we added and changed to the All-Star Music Resort. And that definitely kind of like evened out the price a little bit. To make
Which
it
I don't
possible.
mind because we're All-Star people anyways.
Yeah. And I will say, I called and I asked them just to like make sure. I was like, how does like moving our luggage between these hotels work? Because that can be kind of inconvenient whenever, I know a lot of people do split stays. I have never done one before. And so they said they were like, pack up, call Bell Services. They'll come grab your bags for you. They'll transport your bags to the next hotel.
I didn't know that.
And they probably would deliver it to your room. Like if you ask like at your room to call Bell Services, I'm not sure, but we'll just bring them.
As long as it's at the resort.
As long as we're at the resort, yeah, we're gonna have to bus, and it's gonna take us to the main entrance anyway, or liner it. You know what I'm saying?
Liner.
So I mean, that's a really huge help and tip. I feel like
For sure.
So that's the where and how and when of our
That's
trip.
right. That is right.
So, okay. And I did forget to mention that our room at Pop Century is a preferred room.
It is. I forgot about that.
Yes.
We've been waiting for this trip has been planned since last December.
A year. I was going to say a literal year.
Yeah. This was the bounce back from last December. So it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. And when you have a trip that far out,
oh, yeah.
you're just like hoping to get to the 2-month, like that 60-day mark. Until then, you can't really do much.
Yeah. And, you can't do much but book more Disney trips.
No, literally. And that's what we did to fill the time.
We took some impromptu Disney trips. We're like, 3 days here, 4 days there. I think our last one was actually pretty long.
No, I know.
Like
and I
5
think
or
that's
6
like
days.
why we wanted to lengthen this one, because the December one is always our long trip. Like this is always the one that we look forward to one of the most. It's also during Christmas, obviously, so it's exciting. So it's we always do a December trip.
We save the most money for this trip.
Yes.
Because we just want to ball out.
That's right.
Ball out, liner it. Anything.
In like the last impromptu trip, and it was a little bit different because we were off property the first 2 days, and we didn't go to the parks every single day. So it was a little bit different, but it was 6 nights or 6 days at least. So we were like, we got to add some nights to this December one to make it the trip.
Yeah,
so
for
that's
sure.
kind of why we did that. But let's go fast forward. That's from when we booked our trip, and a little bit of modifying after. And let's hit our 60-day mark. So 60 days, if you don't know, is the time that Disney allows you to make your advanced dining reservations for ADRs. And this means 7 in the morning, 60 days before your trip, you are able to go on your My Disney Experience app and start making dining reservations. Very important day, something that I look forward to all the time. We set an alarm.
It's a very stressful day.
Very stressful day. That 60 days in advance and 7 days in advance as of the new Lightning Lane system, stressful.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
we are going to just kind of walk through any kind of dining reservations that we have. Of course, this does not include any quick service or like little stands or things like that, because I'd say majority of our meals are quick service.
Yeah, for sure. We're not like the most like we've said it before, but we're not the most bougiest eaters out there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like, yeah, our palates aren't very bougie.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I like a good atmosphere for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, for sure. We'll go to a restaurant just because it's a nice restaurant to
It's a
go
nice
to,
vibe,
or it's
yeah.
a cool vibe in there.
Maybe just
So-
get an app or something.
Yeah, well, we get like an appetizer that we like, because every place has like, they're gonna have an appetizer.
Something,
They're
yeah.
gonna have some kind of appetizer,
Some kind of cheese
or some kind
appetizer.
of small dish that we'll be able to eat.
Yes.
And then we'll be enjoying we'll be able to enjoy the atmosphere and just kind of
Which,
vibe out.
yeah, I mean, at Disney Springs, that's the way to go too. Like
Yeah.
progressive dining. So our very first day, our travel day, we do have a dining reservation at the Boathouse.
We do.
So we went last time, but we sat at the bar over the water. Lovely time. Got a little cocktail.
Oh, I don't know why I was getting Jock Lindsay's.
Oh, confused. Well, they're next to each other,
Yeah.
so I mean, but we do. We have a Boathouse dining reservation, and I'm very excited.
Oh yeah.
The filet sliders.
Yeah, we're definitely getting the
what
filet
my eyes
sliders.
are
I mean,
on.
that's just a yeah.
You have to. Maybe a drink or two. I've heard that their espresso martini is very good. So
Really?
that, yes.
Might have to get one then.
So that's what we're doing for the Boathouse, and that may or may not happen just because of that time. Like we said,
Yeah.
this was made 60 days before,
Yeah,
now.
and also now we're driving, and we're
We may get
driving
there a
on a
little bit
Monday,
late.
so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with traffic. But
Yeah. So our next reservation is at our first Magic Kingdom day. So we do have military tickets for this trip.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means for us is we have to make park reservations.
We do.
For date-based tickets, you don't have to make park reservations anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But for like annual pass holders and military tickets, you do.
yes,
So we have at least where we're starting our day
yeah.
scheduled.
So we have to reserve our park, and they're all park hoppers. So we have a 6 day.
that is true. Yes.
We have 6 days of park hopping tickets. So you have to reserve your first park day and at least go tap in there. You don't even have to be
Right.
there for a certain amount of time. It's not like the 2:00 thing that they used to do. It's just tap in, and you can leave if you want. You can go to any other park you want, but you
It
still
is
do
a
have
little
to
bit
reserve it.
because even date-based tickets, like a year ago, you did have to make reservations, and like we would get our whiteboard out, and we'd be having like all the days listed out because it's a little stressful, like having to reserve the park and
Yes.
like thinking 60 days out where you want to be that day. I mean, you don't have to make them 60 days out; they're pretty much always available, but we reserved them, and I think it's comforting to know that if we wanted to change, we could just kind of go, and like just being the two of us, it's really easy to park hop.
Oh yeah.
And just go tap in and then go somewhere else. So anyway,
I will say, if you do have military tickets, a good thing to note is that they have to be activated. So if you have like a spouse that's military, or you have a family member that's military, they will have to be at the gate with you
yes,
with military tickets to activate them. And that doesn't get activated at the tap in. You have to go to guest services or some booth on the property to activate these things. So just be mindful of that if you so choose to get military tickets.
yes, we had a lovely family member of Joey's who offered we asked, but so she's actually traveling to let us do this. So shout out Aunt Niecy. So
That's right. That's right. Shout out.
So anyway, the very first reservation that we have is at our Magic Kingdom Day. For our Magic Kingdom Day is at the Crystal Palace. Now, we may or may not be able to hit this just because of how the timeline is going to work out in the morning. But Crystal Palace breakfast reservation because it's comforting, because we love it.
Crystal Palace.
We know that we love it.
It's off the charts. I'm sorry.
It is.
Like when I was a kid, I didn't like going there. I just thought it was boring.
I know, right?
I just
think
didn't
I agree.
enjoy it. But like, there's so many food options there, and I just get to pig out. Like absolutely.
Yeah.
pig
Well, yeah. It's
out.
a buffet, and it's good food, like really good food.
Yeah. What are those waffles?
The
It's like
churro waffles.
Churro waffles.
Do you know what? I think I might have a hot off the grill take.
Really?
I think I enjoyed our food and experience. Well, maybe not the experience, but I definitely enjoyed the food. And remember, I am not bougie, my palate, at Crystal Palace breakfast more than Topolino's Terrace breakfast.
So you're saying Crystal Palace over?
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
the experience
I agree.
The
I agree.
experience at Topolino's Terrace, I loved interacting with those characters a little bit more. And they were a little bit more, like they spent time with us a little bit more, so that was really nice.
Yeah.
But the food, I like it at
I
Crystal
felt
Palace.
like at Crystal Palace it was a little bit more awkward.
It was very awkward for
I don't
us.
know why.
But that was at the beginning of our character journey.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm really bad with characters.
He's not
I think
great.
I've said that before, but like I am like if like Pooh comes up to me and I'm like he's like waving and stuff, Marissa's talking and doing her thing.
And I'm not great
like,
either.
I'm over here like, oh, like
I think that's what it is. I think like because I am a person who, if I'm feeling awkward, I'm going to fill that space with voice, my talking.
Yeah.
And so it's like with these characters, I overtalk and sometimes I talk myself into a hole, but I almost don't unless I'm like literally shutting up on purpose and like turning to you and letting you speak.
No, you have to
I don't
talk.
know if like, yeah, that's what I know you wouldn't want me to do
Or
that.
else I'd just be looking. I'd be like, oh my, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so I do continue talking. And I will say, like, I haven't met a ton of face characters, but I think they're gonna be better because they have a story and they can kind of keep up with you a little bit
That's
more.
right.
But okay, so I think we should just go ahead and talk about our lightning lanes for this day too, right?
That's right. Let's just hop right into it.
So we're just gonna go by day then. So as of now,
let's say our strategy.
yeah.
So our strategy is to book 2 lightning lanes that we really, really, really want, and then one super early in the morning as a burner attraction. And getting that burner attraction just means like literally pick the earliest time in the day for any attraction. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you can make it something you want if it just so happens to be there. But for us, what's our first name? Magic, you said?
Yes.
So for us, ours is Mad Tea Party.
That's
and this
our
is like
burner.
a consensus across a lot of people that say like, do Mad Tea Party as your burner attraction. So you tap in at like 9:30, and then you're already ready to make your next selection.
And to understand a little bit more, yes, it's very important to do early too, but also because there are tier systems, and 3 out of the 4 parks, Animal Kingdom does not have a tier system, so this doesn't really matter in the Animal Kingdom, but you still want to go for the earliest ones anyway. But an early one that you don't really like, just whatever, because once you tap in the park, you don't have tiers anymore.
Yep.
So we tap into Mad Tea Party
And it
early,
unlocks.
and now we can get something like Big Thunder or one of the other tier 1 attractions. So that's why. So Mad Tea Party, like you said, is our burner. Although I will say our burner's at 10. That's not great.
We're going to have to refresh a little bit, get it down there a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not going to be in the park probably till about 9. So I mean, whatever. But that's not what you want. You don't want a burner to be at 10 because on another day you'll see I actually like it kind of reversed. Like one that we actually wanted became our quote unquote burner. But so we have Mad Tea Party just to like kind of play around with, and then we have Haunted Mansion quite literally right after that one, and your girl got Tiana's.
That's right. You always got to get Tiana's. And we'll be riding it twice because
yeah.
I always get the virtual queue.
Yeah. And so this one's at 2:20. And so our kind of thought is try and go for a virtual queue at the 1 o'clock drop so that we can ride it at night.
Yeah. We love Tiana's at night.
Yes.
Tiana's, Slinky, Tower Terror.
Almost everything. But
those are good nighttime rides. You got to get it at night.
Absolutely.
So I'm not even going to try for the 7 one because we already have it at 2. I'm going to get it at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm slow enough to get a later
yeah,
time.
that's it. You have to be slow enough.
Because the last
but
time
fast enough to
I went for the 7 a.m. one, I got boarding group number 1. So
No, it was before like the park even opened. It was like early park opening too. Just really quick, I was the one to book these, so this is 7 days out because we're staying on property. We were able to book these.
yes.
Hated this process.
She absolutely hates it.
Yeah, so I had done
I would
this
too, though.
for our last trip. We had this system that we used, and for some reason, 7 days out, like I think it's because we weren't using the burner method. We were just kind of like going for the top 3 that we wanted. But I will say it's tough, and I don't love it because you don't get to see the times when you're selecting the attractions out of the lists. You have to select the 3, move to the next page, and then you get to choose times. But the issue is once you are on that page and you see like Mad Tea Party, I saw at 10, I was like, dang, I wish I could not choose that one anymore.
Yeah, right.
I would have to go back and lose my Tiana's or like that tier 1 at a good time, I would have had to lose that to change my Mad Tea Party just because I couldn't see the time. So the only thing, like, I just wish I could see the times on the first page.
And it's also kind of messed up sometimes because, like, you'll see your Mad Tea Party for 10, and then you'll click modify time because it says next available time is 9:30, and you're like, cool. And then all of a sudden you'll get to that screen, and it'll say 11, 12, 1,
And it's
2.
not because it's just, like, being taken because we literally did this at, like, the randomest time for Mad Tea Party. Like, I don't think it's, like, a mad dash to modify that time. But, like, it just is, like, really weird. And I think it has a lot of kinks that need to definitely be worked out. So that's our first day. And then our next day is Wednesday, and we are going to Hollywood Studios.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, for our first Fast Pass, we are doing, and this is our burner attraction, the Frozen Sing-Along. We do this every time. Honestly, we love it. So, it's a great burner attraction, honestly. So, that's going to be at 9:05.
Which isn't, you have to be mindful because a lot of these, unless it's like a virtual queue, 9 is when the park opens. So early entry, we'll still rope drop something probably.
Yeah.
And then kind of go and hit this and maybe modify and see if there's something earlier. But 9:05 is one of the earlier ones you can get.
So that's a pretty good burner attraction right there. And then we have our next one is the Tower of Terror, and that's at 12:45. But before that, we have an 11:20 a.m. Roundup Rodeo barbecue lunch.
Yes.
And we have not done this before.
No,
so
we stepped inside just to, like, look at it, and it looks amazing. You know, the thing is I don't think we're going to be, like, huge fans of food. I think we'll be able to find things to eat. So I am a little bit nervous about doing this. I guess it'll really depend on how big of a breakfast we had, whether or not I'm super hungry. If I am, I may choose not to do this. This is a family style, but they have, like, barbecue and, like, ribs and things like that, and, like, watermelon salad, things that I don't eat, honestly.
They have the bowls there, right? The nacho?
No, that's what is lunchbox.
Oh, is this the mac and cheese, right?
They do have mac and cheese, I think, but, like,
I thought it was like crazy mac and cheese.
Oh, like good? Like crazy good?
Like mixtures of stuff in the mac and cheese. Like pork and stuff like that.
Oh, no, that flame cheese barbecue? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. I might be thinking that.
I don't know. I think you're way off. This is just where, like, Andy's coming, so you have to, like, freeze.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, well, anyway, they bring, like, a big thing of, like, chicken breasts, ribs, brisket, I think.
Oh, wow.
Things like that. So I think, well, I've heard the desserts are really good, so I'm anticipating a good time. I'm going for the vibes.
Yeah,
Let's just say that.
Yeah, definitely the atmosphere. Like, I'm more excited about the atmosphere than I am the food.
Yeah.
Like,
and let's just hope that it's a nice bonus.
We'll get something to nibble on, and then we'll just go over to Woody's Lunchbox. You know
well, I mean, it's a lot to nibble on. It's family style, so I mean,
is it family style? I thought it was menu. Menu style.
Menu style.
What is it called? I don't know. Dinner style.
It's just
dinner style, menu style.
I think there's still a menu. It's just
a la carte.
I guess so. I don't know. Moving on.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll update you guys on our post trip recap, kind of like how that goes, because I'm a little nervous. So after our Twilight Tower of Terror thing, whatever it's called, Lightning Lane, then we're going to Slinky Dog Dash at 3:30. We may modify this, and something that we were going to keep in mind too. We're going to be park hopping. If we have a park hopper, we're hopping. To parks.
For sure.
And we usually hit around like 2 and we're like, okay, let's go. Let's get a little change of scenery here.
Oh, yeah.
So 3:30, maybe even a little bit late for us. So we have to be mindful of that.
Because honestly, I think even before 2 o'clock, we're like, all right.
It's time to go.
We can go to another park. Because our last trip, I mean, we didn't have park hoppers, so we were doing like the thing where you take a break in the middle of the day for like an hour and a half and then go back to the resort. So by like 12 o'clock all those days, we were like, all right, let's get out of here. You know, let's get out of here. We'll come back later. So who knows what's going to happen with the park hopping option. We haven't had park hoppers since our last December trip.
Yeah, and I will say, like, park hopping is so fun to have. I do really like park hoppers. It almost adds stress.
A little bit more stress.
It does, because you just have to think about, like, oh, if I'm hopping, I'm going to want to ride a ride over there. So I need to start making my Lightning Lane reservations at my other park at like 10 at this park. And you're just, you know what I mean? Like dining reservations, clothing, for anybody who like plans their clothes to their Disney trip. It's kind of a lot to like think about and like manage in your head. So I would say it does add a little bit of stress,
and going back to us not having park hoppers in a while, I was a little confused. So I just want to like let you guys know that when we were going to buy these fast passes and do all our, pre-bookings and stuff like that, there wasn't an option to buy a multi-park fast pass.
Because Genie Plus there was.
Yeah, so Genie Plus there was the multi-fast pass park hopping option. So in this one, if you have a valid park hopping ticket and you buy the multi-pass, if you buy the multi-pass, then you get it automatically.
Right, so even if I buy the Animal Kingdom multi-pass, I'm still good to park hop to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, you have to book your first 3 attractions in your initial park. Right. So once you're done with those, or I think once you just tap into your first one, you can start booking the next one. But the first 3 bookings have to be in your initial park.
Yes. Good point. So, all right, moving on to our next day. We are actually not going to, we don't have a park reservation this day because
this was one of our switches. Yes. This was originally Animal Kingdom. But it was actually Animal Kingdom and our Mickey Very Merry. So we have a Mickey Very Merry's party this day. Is that a lot?
It's just funny the way you're saying it.
So, yes, we did have a party that day, and we were going to do Animal Kingdom the front half of that day just because Animal Kingdom's a shorter park that you can get done. And, we love Animal Kingdom, but it is a half day.
Okay, no. Listen,
you can make it a full day.
But you can make it a half day. But you can also make it a full day. But all that to say, we have Mickey's Very Merry that evening, and we were like, well, we're not going to be able to do anything till 4, so we could just go ahead and use. We had already bought the passes, so why not use it? But because we added a day, we wanted to have that for a full day.
Yep.
And we said, we'll just maybe park hop, sleep in, enjoy our day, and then go over because you can get in at 4 o'clock to Magic Kingdom for the party. Start our park day that way.
We were like, let's not waste a whole park hopper ticket.
Yes.
And let's just go in at 4 o'clock. So there's no point because now we just added a day, so we can just move that day to the the last one of the 2 days that we added on.
Yeah. So that's kind of the plan. Mickey's Very Merry. I mean, y'all kind of know what that is about. We'll recap if anything's changed, kind of how our experience was, but that's kind of all for that day. So moving on, the next day we have Epcot. So that is our theme park reservation. And so this is kind of one of those where the burner didn't quite work because it's Epcot.
Epcot is just weird because it's like,
you do not need multi-pass for this park.
You don't need multi-pass. But we just bought it just because why not, Yeah. And then we have the park hopping ticket. So it's really going to probably benefit more towards our second park that day. So,
right, yeah.
Like, literally Epcot, you don't need it.
Yeah, because I was literally going through, and Epcot does have tiers, which is crazy.
Do they?
They do. And so I was like, literally, guys, it's like Frozen, Remy, Soarin', and I'm probably Test Track is one of them, are like tier 1s. And so I'm like, literally everything else will not have a line.
Yeah, nothing, literally. Nemo won't have a line. Living with the Land won't have a line. Mission Space won't have a line. Spaceship Earth won't have a line.
Nothing. So we got Frozen because we like to, and especially since we're staying on the liner, we like to rope drop Remy's. We're just going to keep that the same. But we did get one for Frozen Ever After at 11:20, which was a pretty good time. And yeah, that's for Joey.
I can't wait. That one was for me. We could have got the Fast Pass for Remy's, but she took one for the team this time.
Yeah.
She took one for the team, and we're getting Frozen.
Yes. So,
which still leaves the opportunity to get Remy's again if we refresh it.
If we're fast enough, yeah. So this is kind of the one where I was like, let's get a burner. So I knew I wanted to Live with the Land because last year during Christmas we waited 45 minutes for it.
Yeah.
That's only because it was night, I think, and I think it was just a weird time. We went on a weird time. So I was just like, let me just go ahead and get it. And then I was like, my burner in my head can be Figment because it's kind of close to Remy's. It'll be in the morning. We'll be able to rope drop and then go and hit that scan in.
Because that's typically our path anyways. We hit Remy's, get some breakfast at, I can never say it.
La Hall. to
And then we get breakfast there, and then we walk through like the Canada exit, and we get out of the.
We just start at like old Future World.
Yep. So we'll go right over to Figment, hit our little burner, and then book something else.
But the issue was the burner turned out to be at 10:20 again.
Ugh.
And the other one, which is Living with the Land, is at 9:20. So really, Living with the Land is our burner.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Whatever. That's what I was saying. I was like, well, I'm not even going to modify it because what I'm going to modify it to is Spaceship Earth for 9 o'clock in the morning. There's going to be no line. So anyway, and I did go ahead and buy Joey an individual lighting lane a single pass lane for Guardians at 12:20. I just kind of picked a random time because I had no idea what time would be best for us, but that's what I did. I did it earlier rather than later in the day. And I will say, usually he could just get a virtual queue, but as someone who's waiting for him, I will buy him the single pass.
That queue line for the virtual queue is so bad. So bad. I mean, it's the longest, like, wait ever. Because, like, they prioritize that individual lighting lane.
And as they should. I mean, that's
like they
money,
should.
Straight money.
They should, but it's like for every 50 in that line, they're sending like 10 in the regular line.
No, I believe
it's like,
that.
It does not move. And I'm just not a fan of that queue line. I don't know if anyone else is, but I'm not a fan of it. And then,
did it make your worst of our ranking the queues episode?
I think it actually did at some point. I think it did. But yeah, I don't enjoy the queue line whatsoever. I'm on my phone the whole time.
So let's just get you, and I don't wait with him. I'm just like, I'm going to go get me a drink or something.
Yeah, and then the pre-shows, I mean, that's just the cherry on top. Like, let's just open the doors and let people go. Like, let's not do that.
No, because then that's the whole waiting portion. They're just trying to make it entertaining for you.
Yeah.
So we do have dining reservations this day, and we have 2 as of now in the Epcot area because I wasn't sure which one to get, and they're both kind of hard reservations to get. So I do have both, and it's Topolino's Terrace for dinner, which
we have not done Topolino's Terrace for dinner, which would be super cool to do. And
you could do like the Epcot firework viewing. I feel like I'm talking myself into it, but I was also able to grab Toledo at Coronado Springs, and this is in the Gran Destino Tower. People love this place.
Why? I don't know. Why?
Well, it's tapas, which is I love tapas.
Okay,
it's just small
tapas.
plates. It's just fun, but it's beautiful. I mean, it is gorgeous. Yeah,
I haven't seen it actually.
I have to show you this. I don't feel like it gets a ton of love because it's at Coronado, but the people that know about it are obsessed with it. I know a lot of people talk.
I'm sorry, I've actually never seen Coronado either.
You've seen it. We've just not been inside it.
Yeah, I've seen it. But like the appeal doesn't appeal me.
I think you got to go in Gran Destino Tower because I think that's kind of where the beauty is at Coronado.
Everyone's always like Coronado Springs, love it. And I'm like,
it's because of the tower.
Yeah,
and this is in the tower, and this is on the top floor of the tower. Well, if it's not on the top floor, it's one of the top floors because I think Dahlia Lounge is also top floor or something like that.
Yeah, we'll have to go check it out this time. We have plenty of time to do so.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
we will have to go check it out.
So hopefully, I feel like we neglect the Epcot area, like Boardwalk, and also we got to go to Jelly Rolls because I've heard that it's going away. So we have to go, and that's the dueling piano bar. So we'll update you on if we did that or not
is
too.
A big dueling piano bar, girl.
Yeah, I love it. So we gotta choose, and I think unfortunately that's gonna just be a game time decision. So moving on to the next day,
we have Hollywood Studios. So our first lightning lane, real early in the morning, is the Twilight Tower Terror.
And again, you can't see the times when you click them. So this was a happy surprise.
This is a good one.
This became kind of like our burner.
Yeah, so this one's at 8:35. Really good for Tower Terror.
Yes.
That's solid because then we can start booking our next tier 1 attractions.
Yep.
And then at 9:35, which is also pretty early.
Yeah, right.
Is Toy Story Mania. And man, Toy Story Mania is just a nightmare for me. Like it is.
I love it. I think it's so fun.
Like I love it, but I dread that ride every single time. I dread it.
I know. We actually need to go casual this time.
I don't know, man. Last time, like she beats me majority of the time. I don't even know how. I think my gun just stops working. But she beats me all the time. So I dread going on this ride because we're very competitive. Yeah. Very competitive. So I don't really try to show it when we're on Toy Story Mania, but really so grinds my gears.
And his our arms are obviously
I'm
dead.
I'm trying so hard. Like I feel like I'm trying 30 times harder than she is. And some reason she'll end up with 30,000 more points than me. And I'm like, what in the crap is going on right now? But yeah, we have Toy Story Mania. And then at 10:35, which is also early in the morning. You really killed this day.
And this is also something that I wanted to mention very clearly. Very clearly. We're getting to the back half of our trip, or at least the middle. Very clearly, the first 2 days of people's trip are what they are booking first. And that makes sense. That's how I started doing it.
Well, originally we thought it was going to be the back half of the days that were people who were going to be booking out first.
Here's the thing. It's like competitive-wise, yes, you're going to need to start at the day one because everyone else is starting at day one. But once I got to like 3 days in, it was a breeze. I think this is our 4th or 5th. Literally, I mean, like we just said, everything that I wanted, and it was all before noon. So it was such a breeze. And the next day, you'll definitely see it. So that's just something to keep in mind. There you go. That's all I have to say.
So with that being said, 10:35 a.m. is our Slinky Dog Dash, which is crazy.
Super early for Slinky.
Depending on if we park hop or how we're feeling, might refresh that to later in the day, or our first Hollywood Studios day might refresh it there. But love Slinky Dog at night. That is just the best vibe ever.
Yeah, and so that's like the thing that like you kind of run into is like, I want to ride Slinky at night, but I don't want to hold on to a lightning lane all day.
Yeah, or miss out.
Or miss out on it.
There might not be a lightning lane for it.
Yeah, because you wait so late. So it's a tough game to play. It might just be one of those things where you kind of get in the line at the last part of the day.
So with our last reservation on that day, it's actually a dining reservation.
Yes.
This is something we also have. I think you might have.
I've never done this.
You've never done it.
I've never done this. But it's something that
That's
I've
surprising.
I know it is. It really is surprising.
I feel like your family is this kind of reservation right here.
Well, I did grow up going to Fort Wilderness a lot. So this is Hoop-de-Doo Musical Review.
That's right.
This was gone for a long time. This was one of the last things from COVID to open back up. I do have a fondness of Fort Wilderness in my heart, and it's very nostalgic for me. And so, one, just being able to go and have a reason to go to Fort Wilderness, amazing. I'm super excited about that. But I'm also very excited.
I've never been to Fort Wilderness, so I'm excited about that.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
That's one with the horse stables, right?
Yes.
That's right. I want to see the horses.
So yeah, like we're gonna make a whole time out of it. I'm hoping that's gonna how it works out. But yeah, this is a musical show. You have different like tiers of seating that cost different depending on where you are. Like if you're on the floor really close, it's obviously more expensive. I think we're up on the balcony.
That's fun.
Which is fine. I've actually heard that it's a really like good time.
Yeah.
They have crowd interaction. They have like bottomless, like either you can do like sangria or like tea or something like that, like some kind of alcoholic beverage. And again, the food I feel like is reminiscent of the Roundup Rodeo. It's kind of like that barbecue-y food.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I'm gonna love, but I am absolutely there for the vibes. So
yeah, I'm excited to try it out.
I'm so excited.
The only thing with me is we never said what time this is at. This is at 6:15 p.m.
Yeah.
The only thing with me is it's such a hard pass up to like.
Yeah, it is. It's tough.
Go to a dining reservation at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock when the parks are still open, because we're gonna go to the 6:15. And there's not going to be a park open once we leave, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be, but it won't be worth going back to the park. So it's kind of a hard trade-off for me.
I understand, and I do also have those reservations. But we are there. We've added another day, so after that, I was like,
park
perfectly
hoppers. Fine. It's fine. We'll be okay.
We'll be all right.
And we go a good bit.
And that's the other thing. I really do like. It's so easy to fall into like the comfort of doing the same things over and over. But
like go to the park, get quick service, make it easy, stay in the park all day.
Focusing on like hitting as much of the rides.
But there's so much more at Disney than just the parks and the quick service food inside of the parks.
And with a 9-day trip, you have to watch your feet. Like we're gonna be destroyed by then probably. So we're gonna probably want this kind of a vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
So slowing it down a little bit. And we're in category 3, the second showing. I don't really know what all that means. That's what I was talking about, like things, but I don't know how many shows they have tonight. But
category 3.
Yeah. I will mention though, this was something that we paid for in advance. So as soon as I booked it, and I actually didn't realize that until I saw it, and I was like, "Ooh,
this is a pretty hefty price."
It was expensive. Yeah. I think what did we pay? Like 120. Yeah, that might be too much. But
no, I think it was up there.
It really was. So, and I will. This is like family
Maybe
style.
95.
It's like, yeah, it's something. I was going to say it probably wasn't over 100. Either way, you do pay for it as soon as you book that reservation. So just be mindful of that. But you can cancel it 24 hours in advance and you get your money back.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good cancellation.
Yeah, because after that I was like, well, maybe. So anyway, moving on. Our next day, this is Sunday now. We are at. Okay, well, this is an important thing to say. We check out of Pop Century the 15th, and we are moving over to All Stars. So
we'll just wake up that day with our bags packed.
Yes.
We'll already call bell service. They'll take our bags, and we're just going to hop on the bus like normal to our next part.
100%. So it's not going to affect us that much. And we do have a reservation for Magic Kingdom this day, and we have Ohana.
That's right. This is the best.
I'm so excited that this isn't our last day.
Best character dining on Disney property.
Isn't that so fun that it's not our last day anymore?
That's right.
So I'm so excited to go to Ohana. If anything, it's just obviously like it has the name.
Stitch.
I know it's probably not. Yeah, that's the thing. I have not been there when it's been a character breakfast, so I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, when we went for our engagement, we ended up going there, but there was still no characters due to COVID circumstances. But this will be fun for you.
I'm excited. I'm not the biggest fan of Ohana breakfast food, so I mean that's not a big deal for me. But
it's like a big hodgepodge. They bring out like a big bowl of just food, so it's almost like a buffet in a bowl.
Yes, that's family style.
And it's
Joey.
Bottomless.
That's family style.
Is it family style? It's not menu style.
Yeah, family style is just like bottomless buffet, but brought to you.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, excited about that. Moving along, we have, this is one that I was like, wow. I got Pirates at 8:50, which
that's good.
It's good, but really the big one here is Tiana's. I got for 11 in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Insane too.
And then Mansion for 1.
Pro tip for Tiana's: if you don't like getting wet, sit in the back 2 rows.
Oh yeah.
And you'll be just fine. I promise. The second to back row, you'll get a little splash on your arm. Maybe the top of your shirt might be wet. And in the back, you're just going to get some sprinkles on your arm. If you're sitting in the front, you're wet. Sorry.
You're wet. Yeah, you are wet.
You're done.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah, those are our lightning lanes for the day and probably the best ones. For this one, I was like, I don't even care about doing a burner, but because I wanted Pirates, Haunted Mansion, and Tiana's. And that's the top 3 that I would say anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, if you were going for, like, you didn't care about using the burner method, those are the 3 that I'd tell you to choose.
Yeah.
And it just happened to work out that Pirates was so early in the morning.
Yep.
So then our very last day, we have Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. So this was, like we said, originally on our party day. It was Wednesday.
Yep.
But we obviously moved it because of our 2 extra days. So now on the 16th, and this is Monday.
This is our last day, full day.
Yep, this is our last full day. We are going to Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
So Marissa was so nice and bought me a individual lightning lane for Avatar Flight of Passage.
It's intrinsically motivating because I now have to wait less. So yeah.
And I still think this is actually the most expensive individual lightning lane. I still think it holds the trophy.
This was like 23.
Yeah, it's like up there. 23, 25, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty expensive one. But we'll be rope dropping Navi River. I always have to put that in there. And then we'll head right over to Avatar.
I was going to say, this is so early. I think we'll be able to get into Animal Kingdom probably at like 7:30 or 8, depending. I don't remember the times. So this will be like we'll go hit Navi and then hit this and then really kind of had the heavy hitters out of the way. And I will mention, because we moved this day, I did modify my park reservation and moved it to this day. But also, I had bought the Flight of Passage single pass for that day. And I called today and I asked him, I was like, hey, is there any way we can please move that? And they did. That was not a problem. The only thing I will say is we had to pay $1 and some change more because it was more expensive on this day, which just is probably because it's getting closer to Christmas.
Now be mindful, I don't think they'll do that for fast passes. So if you change your park day, because we have had that experience our last trip actually, so we changed our park days. And the actual selections of fast passes.
Well, yeah.
They were able to change it, but it's just not going to be the same times.
Like your multi-pass just changed from whatever day you had to another day, but they can't move the selections that you have just because
they're already locked off, already secured.
Yeah.
And obviously when we did that, it was the day before. So,
yeah, it was.
So there was no time I mean, there were time selections, but it just wasn't specifically what you wanted.
That pre versus post trip recap would have been crazy.
Yeah,
that would have been literally a 180.
That was insane. Which I think we'll have some.
I think we will
we'll have
too.
some changes.
We definitely will.
It's so weird because we were talking about it. It's like it really just like the unknown is when you're in the park and how much money you're going to spend at the park.
Yeah, like we just like budgeting for in the park is.
It's really tough. By like everything will be fine until like midweek, and then we're like, okay, we have enough money. We can do something else. We'll add a party.
Yeah.
We'll add a day. We'll get another park ticket. But yeah, we'll have to see how it changes out.
Yeah, for sure. But that is all that we have for. I mean, I just think this is just going to be the best trip ever. I'm so excited. I have like certain things that I want to eat.
Hold on.
Well, okay, you're right. Nothing will ever top that.
Right.
But
that's right.
That's because our families were there too. But I have like some must dos and must drinks and eats and things like that. And so, we'll see if those get done. Mm-hmm. But I'm very excited about this trip, and I can't wait to. I want to be able to live in the moment through this trip, but I am excited to see kind of like what changes. So
I think we're really gonna take it slow.
I don't think we will,
okay,
and I think that we
taking
should.
It slow.
No, we should because of how long our trip is.
Okay.
But knowing us, we're just gonna like keep treating every day like it's the last day that we have in Disney World.
Yeah,
and we need to chill out a little bit.
It's like we were just there like last month, but like we're at
we gotta
like
go,
when
go,
we
go.
get there, literally we
like
could
fight or
have
flight.
We could have gone 2 days ago, and we'll treat it like we've never been. Like we got to be there from park open to park close. So I think with some of these reservations though, it'll kind of take us away from the park and just allow us to like enjoy other things other than just the park.
And maybe we should still do a midday break on some days.
Yeah, we'll just kind of have to feel it out, and that's what our post trip will be about. And we'll obviously explain everything that got changed.
I think this is our longest trip at Disney.
Yeah, this will
like
be
exclusively at Disney. This is the longest trip we've ever done.
This will definitely be our longest trip we've ever done, and it'll only grow from here.
Eventually, 11 days.
Eventually, we'll be at 30 days. 30
We're just
days.
living there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Please. All right. Well, that is all that we have on terms of our pre-trip planning. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are going to be following along over at Countdown to the Castle for our Instagram. We'll kind of just be posting. I try not to be very active on Instagram during the trip just because I like to be in the moment. So maybe a week later you'll see all the pictures and stuff. But we'll share some snippets of what we're doing while we're there.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, follow us over there and keep updated.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening or watching. If you're over on YouTube, go follow us at all our socials at Countdown to the Castle. And if you feel so inclined, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And until next time,
Let the countdown begin.